Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. Oh my God. All right. Hear me out here. Hear me out here right now, okay? Whether you think Dak Prescott is trash or a good quarterback, okay? It doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on, okay? Whether you think Dak Prescott is good or bad. I think we can all recognize that what we've been doing as far as wide receiver number 2 for the last 3 years isn't good enough, okay? We got rid of Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson, okay? The amazing thing is people, constantly are saying, well, Dak Prescott's he's always had great weapons. I'm sorry. When I look at the players that we have had at number 2s in the last 3 years between Noah Brown, Michael Gallup, and aged Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, these are decent players, but these aren't true number 2s. Not when you looked at San Francisco with the Deebo Samuels, a George Kittle, and Ayuk, or you look at the Eagles with Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. There's no comparison to what we have right there. Now, people will say Dak sucks because he needs to have people around. Whether you think Dak sucks or doesn't suck, the bottom line is we can all agree that the Dallas Cowboys need more weapons. It's like this. I'm just curious for all those people that are sort of screaming, get rid of Dak because he needs more people around him. As I look around the NFL right now, you got a team like the Steelers that's waiting on a 42-year-old train wreck of a quarterback to come in and save them. As I look around the league and you see New York Giants trading up to try and get a Jackson Dart, who is Daniel Jones 2.0. As I look around at the New Orleans Saints that are kind of like, we got Derek Carr who doesn't really want to be here. There's not options at quarterback out there. And it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things as we sit here today because Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? You don't have an out for 2 more years at minimum. 2 more years. So instead of just belly aching and saying, well, Dak sucks, Dak ain't. Listen, you had the Philadelphia Eagles, and my God, I hate to go ahead and use them for example. I can remember the days, because it was not that long ago, that Philly 500 was questioning whether Jalen Hurts was good enough to be their quarterback. They did. But you know what that team did? They went out after failing in the draft, okay? After failing in the draft, because they kept trying to get him weapons over and over again in the draft, and they failed mightily until they got Devontae Smith. They said, Devontae Smith isn't enough. Let's go get a legitimate wide receiver and traded a first-round pick and got A.J. Brown. But that wasn't it. They had Miles Sanders a couple years ago. Miles Sanders had a really good year. And they said, you know what? That's not good enough either. They brought in DeAndre Swift, who had a pretty good season then the next year after Miles Sanders. And they still looked at that and said, yeah, we got a great offensive line. We got a really good tight end. We got 2 wide receivers. But let's get him a running back to make his job easier and better and more effective. We, on the other hand, instead of going out and getting a Devontae Smith, we get rid of an Amari Cooper. Instead of us going out and getting a Derrick Henry, we getting back Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook. Two guys who are spent. Let's make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are spent. They were spent. And instead of us looking and saying, we ain't got no weapons, the haters out there are just constantly saying, well, Dak, we need to change the quarterback. It doesn't matter, people. It doesn't matter. If you bring in another quarterback, you can bring in Jalen Hurts. With the team we had last year, he ain't going to the Super Bowl and winning it, people. He's not. I don't understand why it is that people are always so happy to go ahead and say, get another quarterback, when people have been trying to do that shit for years. You don't think the Cleveland Browns have been trying to get a quarterback since Bernie Kosar? You don't think that? Washington literally went through everybody and their sister between drafting a guy with 3 number ones and a third, to another one for a number 1, to signing veterans like Donovan McNabb and former first-round draft picks Alex Smith. They've done everything. Finally, they got it right. Why is it so hard to fathom and say, let's put another weapon there to help them? Because I'm curious for those out there that just say, get rid of Dak. What do you do when your child's having a hard time with math? What do you do? Do you just say, well, he needs help in math, I need to go get rid of that child. I just need to get a new son who doesn't need help in math. Is that what you do? Is that what you do? Or do you work with him to get better with math, or do you go out there and get him a tutor? Because your dumbass doesn't know how to do the math anyway. You get a tutor. He stays after school to work with the teacher. You get him what he needs to be successful. And right now, if we go into the season, we're getting the whole sales job right now that Devontae Turpin could be the answer. And that Jonathan Mingo, could be the answer. Listen, the Cowboys are sitting here right now, as we speak at this moment, with $37.5 million of cap room. Okay? They sit here knowing that they can get somewhere between 10 and 12 additional dollars. Okay? That puts them close to $50 million in cap space. Mind you, that is more money that they will have had in cap space ever. Ever. Let me be clear here, other than earlier this year before we spent some of it. Actually, I don't know if it went over 50 or not. Do you out there believe that we have a better chance of having a really successful season by going through and putting hopes on Jonathan Mingo and Kayvon Turpin for Dak Prescott? Or would you think that you'd have a better chance if you went out and got somebody like DJ Moore, who is not on the roster, who is going to cost you some of that $50 million that you have? Which way do you think is a better solution? I'm going to dare say, I think spending some money to get a legitimate wide receiver. And I'm going to also agree with Des Bryant about possibly going out there and getting Nick Chubb and adding to the mix. Because I've seen the Cowboys do the penny pinching all these years and literally just putting it all on the quarterback. How about we try something different and new, like actually trying to support the quarterback to make him the best he can be. Keep in mind, I want you to understand, Dak Prescott was a runner-up MVP with CeeDee Lamb, okay, and aged Brandon Cooks, who only had 600 some yards, Jake Ferguson, who had a career year that year, okay, and Michael Gallup and Jalen Tolbert. Running-wise, he had Tony Pollard only. Yeah. That guy was runner-up MVP with that crew. What if, instead of Brandon Cook, you did have a DJ Moore on there? What if you had a Nick Chubb back there for your short yardage to go with Tony Pollard? Dude had 36 TDs. 36 TDs. Clearly, a person who throws 36 TDs and 37 TDs in the NFL is not a loser. How about we try that for once instead of what we've been doing? Y'all drive me crazy, man. Peace.